The NBA draft was just last night. Obviously today is Friday, not January. Jeez, June 24th, and there was a lot of stuff that happened last night. And the big surprise started at the first pick with Paolo Banchero going first to the Magic, then Chet Holmgren going second to the Thunder, and Jabari Smith Jr. going third to the Rockets. That was that big three of the draft, but there was also a lot of other stuff happening and a couple trades as well. So we'll cover all that and more right here on Bleacher Brawls. My name is Derek, and let's get into it. Obviously, the first big surprise of the night was Paolo Banchero going to the Magic. That does not mean it's a bad pick. However, everything that we heard and that we saw was, oh, it's going to be Jabari Smith. It's going to be Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith's going to the Magic. Jabari Smith's going to the Magic. Holmgren's going to go second, and then Banchero's going to go third. However, the Magic have been one of those teams in recent years that they're always good at keeping what they want to do close to them. They don't let it get out. And they've done it again. They kind of surprised people. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because they took Paolo Banchero. Banchero is probably the safest option, I think, with each three picks. But there's nothing wrong with that. He's the most NBA ready body type. But all three of them, I think, will be able to play in the NBA. But at the end of the day, there's always questions on Holmgren and his body type. So just some questions on it. And Jabari Smith does have his own, he has a little bit of questions. I don't think as much as Holmgren, even though I feel like Holmgren I think has the highest potential. Jabari Smith has the potential to be the most consistent out of them. And Banchero I think has the highest floor. So we'll see how it all turns out in the future, obviously. But none of them were going to be bad picks at the first overall pick for the Magic, except for maybe Holmgren, just because he doesn't really fit them. They already have Wendell Carter Jr., and if they bring back Mobley, who I think is an RFA, or maybe he's not. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think he is, though. But if he's there next year, they don't really need a third center. So it doesn't really make sense. So you just roll. So between the Magic was always between Banchero and Jabari Smith, and they took Banchero, which was a little bit of a shock, but a little bit of a shock, but they took him. Not a bad pick at all. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely not a bad pick. It was just a shock to see it because the whole draft process, it was going to be Jabari Smith going first the whole time, and then and then it just flipped yesterday, right before the draft. That it's going to be Paolo Banchero. Everyone's like, oh, whoa, we weren't expecting this. Then Holmgren obviously went second to the Thunder, and Jabari Smith third to the Rockets. I'm not going to fully cover them. I covered the three of them in my draft preview video, so make sure to check that one out as well. But then the big surprises, I guess you could say, at least big surprises for this draft where there weren't many surprises, like big surprises at least, happened at the fourth pick. The Kings taking Keegan Murray. Not that Keegan Murray was surprising going 4, especially people thought a lot of people thought Jaden Ivey was going to go 4, but the Kings don't really need another guard. Let's be honest. They have De'Aaron Fox, Davion Mitchell, and I'm pretty sure they have another one. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Keegan Murray fits what they need. Fits a need for them. But I think it was surprising to see them not trade down. Then the Pistons obviously take Jaden Ivey at 5th, which that backcourt with Cade Cunningham is going to be that backcourt should be good for a long time. But then is the Pacers at 6 take Benedict Matthew in, and that one was a little bit of a shock because a lot of people had Matthew going 8, 9, 10, but more towards 10 than 5 or 6 or 7. But he was also in the talks for the top 3 picks earlier on in the draft pass, and even somewhat towards the end as well. So it seems like the league valued him higher and saw more in him than what the outside people did. So, good pick for the Pacers. They got the guy who they wanted, I'm guessing, even though they were another trade down candidate and they didn't trade down. So that was also a surprise. I think that was the big thing. They didn't trade down as well. Then to finish out the top 10, it was Shaedon Sharpe going 7th to the Blazers. The Pelicans took Dyson Daniels at 8. Jeremy Sohan went 9th to the Spurs. and the Wizards took Mr. Taco Bell at 10, Johnny Davis. If you haven't seen those Taco Bell commercials, keep an eye out for them because Johnny Davis's nickname is officially Mr. Taco Bell, at least according to me. But yeah, his nickname is Mr. Taco Bell now, officially. Then we get to the first trade of the draft with the 11th pick, and it is, and the Knicks trade Ousmane Dieng, who they draft with the 11th pick to OKC, and OKC wanted to get in the lottery. To do that, they had to give up 3 first-round picks, Detroit's pick, Washington's pick, and Denver's pick. Now, those picks are all protected. The Washington pick is top 14 protected. The Denver pick is top 14 protected as well, but the Detroit pick is top 18 protected. And all 3 of them are also protected in future years. So, for example, if Detroit's pick lands in the top 18 in 2023, the Knicks don't get it, and then there'll be a net new protection for 2024, which let's just say that's top 14 now, which is the lottery. So let's just say that's top 14 protected now. So then that pick still is in the top 14. The Knicks don't get it. Then the next year it might only be top 10 protected. But then if it lands in the top 10, it's you get the role, you get the gist of it. So yeah, that's so the Knicks have 3 first-round picks, but they are all protected. So who knows when they'll get those picks and how good of picks they would actually be. That's yet to be seen. And Ousmane Dieng went to the Thunder, obviously, who also had their 12th pick and took Jalen Williams. So the Thunder got a nice group of 3 guys. They got Holmgren, Dieng, and Jalen Williams. And also funny, the Thunder also with their 2nd-round pick took another Jalen Williams. The first Jalen Williams they took in the 1st round was Jalen spelled Jalen. Jalen Williams they took in the 2nd round. Jalen is spelled Jaylin. So they took 2 Jalen Williams. That's going to be, yeah, that was kind of funny when they did that. There's a lot of those Spider-Man memes going around with them pointing at each other. So yeah, that was kind of funny that actually happened. And they took 2 Jalen Williams, 2 guys with the same names, just spelled different. Then the Hornets at 13 took Jalen Durant, but that was a 3-team trade to Detroit. This was kind of the big trade of the night, as it included Kemba Walker. We'll start with what Charlotte gets. Charlotte got a 2023 first-round pick from Denver, which I'm pretty sure was in that OKC trade. Then they got 3 2023 second-round picks, and then a 2024 second-round pick as well. So 4 second-round picks, plus that first for Charlotte. Detroit got the draft rights to Jalen Durant from Charlotte, and then Kemba Walker from the Knicks. And then the Knicks got a 2025 first-round pick from the Bucks, which the Pistons got that pick from the Jeremy Grant trade a couple of days ago. So a lot of moving pieces in that trade. But yeah, so basically that Knicks trade for the 11th pick with OKC was like was where they got that Denver pick, which is top 14 protected, and they just flipped that pick in that 3-team trade with Charlotte and Detroit. So it's almost like it's almost like a really big 4-team trade realistically when you look at it. Then obviously close out the top 15. It was Ochai Agbaji with the 14th pick to Cleveland and Mark Williams to the Hornets in 15th, which seemed like the Hornets always wanted. And then kind of the next kind of big picks, AJ Griffin from Duke goes to the Hawks, Terry Eason to the Rockets, Dalen Terry to the Bulls. Those are kind of the next 3 off the board. Then I'll kind of break it up a little bit, skip some picks. Wendell Moore Jr. to the Mavericks, which that pick's going to get traded to Minnesota at 26. Thought that was a good pick, so Minnesota's going to get him. I think that is a good pick for Minnesota. And then he taken Nikola Jovic. Was hoping he was going to go to the Nuggets just because Nikola Jovic, that'd be kind of fun. But the Nuggets didn't take him. They took Christian Braun. And the Heat ended up with Jovic. Then obviously the Warriors took Patrick Baldwin Jr. The Minnesota gets the Grizzlies pick in a reported trade, and that's going to be Ty Washington Jr. And then the Thunder closed out the first round with Peyton Watson, which that pick actually is going to Denver. So the Thunder aren't keeping that pick. But they got their 3 in the beginning of the first round. So I don't think they're complaining. The big kind of names in the second round, I say Caleb Houston, 32 to the Magic. The Thunder obviously took the other, Jalen Williams. The Blazers, Gabriel oh gosh, I hate names. Gabriel Prasida, Prasad, I don't know. I'm terrible with names, but they took him and he went to Detroit. Kennedy Chandler, the Spurs took him, but he's getting traded to Memphis. Yeah, there wasn't a crazy, there wasn't anyone who really falled, realistically. Also, too, a cool moment, the Cavs at pick 49 took Isaiah Mobley. They took Evan Mobley last year in the top 5, and now they get his brother with the 49th overall pick. So that was kind of cool. The Mobleys, Evan Mobley and Isaiah Mobley, they played on the same high school team, the same college team, and now they're going to get to play on the same NBA team. So that's a pretty cool story. And then my big pick of the night as a Celtics fan, I was excited to see the Celtics take J.D. Davidson. He's the guy, actually, when I was looking at the draft board and who's best available before the draft, and J.D. Davidson was around the 50s, I'm like, you know what? I would kind of like that for the Celtics. Brings big athleticism, passing ability. Obviously, he does turn the ball over a lot. However, what are you expecting out of a second-round pick, realistically? You're going to have to work out some things with a second-round pick, let's be honest, especially 53rd overall pick. There's some things you're going to have to work out and help them get better at and develop them. But J.D. Davidson has that athleticism that Celtics are missing in the backcourt. So very good athleticism, passing ability. He has it. He just needs to not turn the ball over as much. And I think he could be a good defender as well with his athleticism. So I feel like overall that's a great pick for the Celtics. I like that pick. Obviously, I know some Celtics fans are, oh my God, he turns the ball over a lot. Guys, he's a second-round pick. Relax. Relax, obviously. And then to close out the draft, the last 3 picks was Luke Travers, the Cavs took Jabari Walker to the Blazers, and then Hugo Besson to the Pacers with the 58th overall pick. However, that pick is reportedly going to the Bucks. So overall, it was a fun draft. There wasn't a lot of movement, unfortunately, which sucked. But there was a lot of, there's that one kind of big 4-team trade, which is like a 2-team trade and then a 3-team trade. But one pick was involved in both. So you could kind of say it was a 4-team trade. There were some interesting picks, obviously. Some surprises, starting with the first overall pick in Paolo Banchero. So yeah, there are a lot of surprises. Make sure to check out all the links in the description before I wrap this thing up. Make sure to check out the podcast, the website, the Instagram, and the Twitter, plus all the crew's Twitters. Make sure to check them all out. Make sure to check out, while you're down there, actually subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we post. And also go down and comment, let us know your thoughts on the NBA draft. And make sure to keep an eye out for Twitter spaces that we will be doing. Right now, there are a lot of baseball ones, but who knows, maybe we'll get some basketball ones or other sport ones as well going. This is obviously the NBA draft review right here on Bleacher Brawls. My name is Derek. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.